2021 is going to mark the 30th anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog, a character and property that have been on an incredible roller coaster throughout their lives. And don't worry, I'm not about to mention a rocky start into 3D, because I love the Sonic adventure games, and Heroes is my personal favorite 3D game in the entire series. The roller coaster Sonic has been on doesn't just include games. Remember the time Sonic's comics featured love shapes larger than a triangle, alternate dimensions of all shapes and sizes, and even a legal battle so fierce that it possibly makes certain games seeing sequels impossible? Yeah, everyone likes to joke about the bad games or bad examples of the fandom or use Game Grumps sound bites to get their point across.
This game sucks.
But the fact of the matter is that Sonic is still going strong in the year 2020, and with the April string of announcements, Sonic's future could not look any brighter. He has a successful comic series. Team Sonic Racing showed that the writers understand these characters and how they interact quite well, besides Shadow, and the movie was a wonderful kids movie that blew past any expectations people had for it. The character of Sonic, as much as people like to joke about how 90s he is and how dated he comes across, is anything but dated. Cheesy? Absolutely. But reading Ian Flynn's run on Archie or IDW Sonic comics, or the Paramount movie written by Pat Casey and Josh Miller, is a perfect and contemporary example of how the character can be written very dramatically without the gotta go fast meme humor that many love to use as a negative point against the series. In the Paramount film, Sonic is written as a young teenager, no older than 16, with all of the energy and wonder an alien child would have being unable to interact with society properly. His desire to be there for those he cares about is what drives him, and it makes his conflict with Eggman, who cares about no one, all the more engaging. I know it sounds like I'm adding tons of unneeded gravitas to what amounts to a basic encounter between Sonic and Eggman, but the dismissive nature of the franchise and its storytelling is frustrating to me. It's why I hold this movie in higher regard than I initially anticipated, because the people working on it clearly didn't make it for a cash grab and go. They wanted to impress the fans and general audiences, and with how the box office for this movie turned out, I would say they did it rather successfully. The best Sonic stories are the ones that allow the characters to breathe and act like themselves without straying too far from what gives the franchise its identity. The Sonic movie understood this concept, allowing Sonic and Eggman to bounce off the cast and each other quite well. Tons of games manage this simple storytelling with ease. Heroes, Battles, Advances 1 through 3, Rush, Colors to name a few. Do they have flaws? Of course. But we aren't playing Sonic for Shakespearean narratives. But if you do want something a bit deeper, Sonic and the Black Knight is perhaps the best serious take the franchise has seen, though on the surface level it appears as another game like Secret Rings with a haphazard storybook storyline. In fact, Black Knight is a story about finding your own purpose in life and not letting fear drive your motivation. It deepens Sonic by explaining his heroic attitude without being overly melodramatic or dark, and the interactions he has in the game are some of the peak of both his character and voice acting. Props to Jason Griffith for a phenomenal performance here. A bad Sonic story, like Lost World, forgets about these things. The villains of the game, the Deadly Six, are almost offensive in how one-note they are. Sonic and Tails are best buddies one moment and bickering the next, and Eggman can't decide if he wants to be genuinely menacing like in the Archie comics or early adventure interpretations of him, or if he wants to be silly and cartoony like the majority of his other appearances. The total whiplash and overall lack of fleshing out with the story, characters, and Lost Hex feels disconcerting when games like Sonic Heroes do not only a better job of a consistent tone, but the fleshing out of the story through character interaction. The same can be said about Sonic Forces. The game's 4-hour runtime is riddled with boggling decisions like making Infinite a bland, good-for-nothing villain whose only contribution to the story is existing and having a deliciously cheesy theme song. Classic Sonic shows up because of course he does, except now he's from another dimension, I guess, and Tails is now a coward against a version of chaos he should stomp without blinking. Sonic acts like he never once experienced 6 months of torture whatsoever, despite the cast constantly mentioning it in the beginning of the game, and the rest of the cast exists in a background, making this the Sonic show once again. The fact that they made a game with a double boost mechanic based on camaraderie and didn't include Tails as a playable character at the very least is a crime. So, to segue this to my point, the current run of IDW Sonic comics as written by Ian Flynn is a wonderful example on how to write Sonic stories that can be mature without compromising the fun and whimsical nature of the series. This series is canon to the games up until Forces, so they have to run with some of the silly choices the games make, but otherwise they do what they can to remedy the mistakes of those games. So many perfect examples to choose from, like Sonic and Amy interacting with playful banter instead of the off-again, on-again crush we get in most games, Tails being competent and confident without being bitter or snippy, the Chaotix being some of the Resistance's major coordinators, Eggman being completely alright with the total decimation of the planet provided he gets to rule it. It's a lot of natural evolution compared to the games, which seem content with very surface-level storytelling, never exploring the world, motivations, or interactions between the characters that aren't lame jokes, half-baked messages of friendship that wish they were the true superpower of teamwork, and attempts to recapture what made people love the franchise without understanding what we loved about it. Yes, the gameplay was certainly a major part of the love. If the original games, both 2D and 3D, weren't so highly regarded, we wouldn't be here talking about this now. But as I explained, Sonic as a character and his extended cast work exceptionally well outside of the game medium when put in the right hands, so it's clearly not the franchise that's cursed with an inability to get solid footing, but the people making and writing the games not understanding what it is we love about these characters. Maybe they heard one of the Sonic stupid friends argument and took it to heart, to which I say, which friend could you possibly be saying that about? Tails, the genius mechanic who can fly as fast as Sonic can run, Amy, the strong yet feminine leader of the Resistance, Knuckles, the guardian of the Master Emerald, Angel Island, and strong enough to punch through steel sheets, Shadow, the ultimate life form with his bevy of powers and abilities, Rouge with her incredible stealth and espionage skills, Omega and his arsenal of overabundant proportions, Blaze, whose pyrokinetic abilities make her the hottest in the entire cast, Silver with his telekinetic powers allowing for flight and force pushing to the extreme, Cream and Cheese, the bane of Sonic Advance bosses everywhere and the cutest sweethearts in the franchise, the Chaotix and their incredible goofy banter. These are just some of the absolutely incredible characters the Sonic cast has, and while I will admit not every character is a home run, I find far more hits than misses in the cast overall. That doesn't even include Tangle and Whisper, two of IDW's original characters that fit right in and make the cast even stronger and allow for completely new interactions we wouldn't normally see. Their individual miniseries is a great story as well, and to avoid spoilers, shows you how you can be dark in a Sonic story without being grim or hopeless. At the end of the day, this is the passionate conjecture of a 20-year-old Sonic fan with a grudge and a desire to see change. As mentioned, the series is trending upwards as of now, and with the writers of Lost World and Forces no longer listed to be working with SEGA, I do wonder if SEGA had similar thoughts on the writing of the series. Not to say I'm celebrating people losing their jobs, that would be very harsh of me, but I feel for the betterment of Sonic's writing in the games, this is the correct move. And at the end of the day, I just can't wait to see the eventual return of the Blue Blur to the gaming scene, and I wish him, and all working on him, the absolute best. Hey guys, real quick outro, don't want to make the video too much longer than it already is. This was my first ever video essay, so if you liked it, be sure to, leave a like, subscribe, or comment down below critiquing me on what I could be doing better, or things you really liked, so that way I know to continue or stop doing them. And if you have any topic ideas, be sure to leave them down below. I also have a Discord server I run, so if you want to join that and talk to me about stuff, then you absolutely can. We've got people there that participate on Twitch streams with me, that I also have a link to down below, so be sure to check all that stuff out. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching again, and I will see you guys during the next video. Bye!